Hello, welcome back to another video. Thank you guys so much for joining. As you can see, it's another dreary day in Florida. However, as I was booking my cruise, I was able to come up with 10 ways cruises are coming for your money. Listen here, I'm going to bring it to your first one. Drinks and drink packages. Of course, when you book your cruise, yes, you are entitled to a free drink that is non-alcoholic. It may allow you to get a sweet or non-sweet tea, a cranberry juice. However, it does not allow you to get alcohol. The alcoholic beverages and also the daiquiri non-alcoholic drink smoothies that you get on the cruise is not included. So this stuff can extremely get pricey for you. Now we're going to move into point number 2. Shore excursions. Just know that they do have well-trained staff to help you all choose your excursion. However, these excursions can become very pricey. Now, let's move on into our point number 3. The distinction between included and non-included dining. Of course, when you book your cruise, it's going to come with the buffet. You guys are welcome to go to the buffet as much as you like. You're welcome to go get your pizza. However, the specialty dining is not included, and this stuff can become very pricey. Let's go on and move on to point number 4. Point number 4, the casino. Ching ching. As you know, when you enter into the casino, you guys are going to see a lot of the slot machines. You're going to see a lot of different gambling options that you are going to be intrigued on. However, you are going to start spending, and that is going to get very costly. Let's move on to number 5. Photos and photo packages. Of course, who does not like to have a professional photo lying around their house, put up on their wall? However, it can get very costly. Let's move on to the spas and the thermal suites. Spas, as you know, on a cruise is extremely expensive. As we all know, when you're on a cruise and you're on vacation, you do want to pamper and spoil yourself. However, with the add-ons that they do add on to these different services at the end, it can become very pricey. We're moving on to number 7. What's point number 7? Point number 7 is shopping. Now, you know, us ladies, we can have a problem with shopping. And when we see discounts or sale, we tend to go to the rack. This can get very pricey. However, let's go ahead and move on to point number 8. Point number 8, the internet. You're on vacation, you're on the boat, and then you decide to get the internet package because you decide to tap back into your home to see what's going on with the sitter, to see what's going on with your home or your house. This can get very pricey, especially if you're on a 7-day, a 10-day, a 30-day, or even longer cruise. Next, number 9, art auction. Yes, art auction is very expensive on the cruise. If you guys have had any art auction from the cruise, please comment down below and let me know how it was. I have not heard anyone say that they have ever purchased any art auction from the cruise. And last but not least, our arcade. As you walk in, you see the wonderful games. And if you give your child your key card, and they will tap, tap, tap. And if you don't cap, they could overspend. So yes, charging you hundreds. And those of you who stayed until the end, I want to thank you so much for joining in. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And I'll see you back at the next one.